Welcome to this evening's study club. And this evening we are talking about how to be a better boss. And this topic did very, very well. We have quite a lot of people signed up for this, so hopefully we don't overdo capacity. But it's a popular topic. Leadership is very important, management, and all those relate to being a better boss. So I'm going to talk a little bit about leadership versus management, and then we'll talk about being a better boss after we lay the foundation with Larry Gazzardo. And then one of the things about study clubs, to remind everyone for the umpteenth time, is that we really rely a lot on your questions, on your interaction. We're going to be doing some workshops throughout where I love to hear your feedback and ideas so we can learn together and grow. It becomes much more insightful when we hear from you because Larry and I have heard each other talk for a lot, and I think we are kind of tired of our own voices, so we'd love to hear you, even though you don't have to talk, but at least type to come up with some new ideas. So wonderful. All right, so let's talk about leadership and management. Now, sometimes leadership and management are used interchangeably, but they're very different concepts and constructs. There is some overlap, and they certainly work together. So leadership, as I define it, is the result of self-mastery. We'll talk a little bit about that later when we talk about emotional intelligence, and a synthesis of mindset, vision, teamwork, and strategy. So mindset is self-mastery, understanding yourself, and vision is that you are clear on what you want to accomplish. Not, I just want to do dentistry, or I just want $1 million. Well, be more specific, and how, and what type of change, what type of culture do you want to create? When we think of visionaries, we think of Steve Jobs, we think of Lincoln, and certain presidents perhaps, okay, and business leaders out there, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, and Tesla's CEO Musk, some fantastic visionaries. You also, as a leader, have to be great working with teams. You have to be able to leverage yourself, okay? You have to be able to set the vision and have those follow you along, and then actually getting people to do things is management. And strategy is where, and that relates a lot to vision, is where you're looking ahead more than a year, 5 years, 10 years down the line. When you are buying your business or starting dentistry, you're not just thinking, how do I get in, but you're also thinking, how do I get out? What's my exit strategy? Now, management, on the other hand, is simply, how do we get work done through other people? That really is what management is all about, and the science of getting things done through other people. Now, as a dentist and owner, you really have to focus a lot, in my opinion, on leadership and set the example. That's where it all begins. And then management, you have to at least be a high-level manager and eventually learn how to delegate through others, because the better you can leverage yourself effectively, the better you can get what you want done. Okay, and I just want to make a note that, and Larry may talk about this, but in being a better boss, I see a lot of dentists oscillate between micromanaging and not managing at all, totally hands off. And there's somewhere in the middle that you want to be. You want to know what's going on in your business, but at the same time, you want to be able to support other people and what they, and have them feel like they're involved. So let me tell you about level 5 leadership. And this is a concept that Harvard Business Review writes a lot about, as well as the groundbreaking book, Good to Great. And so there's 5 levels of leadership. And the first level is a highly capable individual. This is typically what dentists will be out of college and out of dental school, and start developing the trades as an associate to be just good at doing dentistry, very, very capable. And maybe you get along with your team and you contribute, and that might be a good team member, but just a pure artist. But once you get your practice, or you're having to manage a practice, you have to move up the ladder to a competent manager, to an effective leader. And ultimately, we hope that all of us could one day be level 5 executives. And what level 5 is, it's a balance between humility and professional will. Boss.
You know, Alex, being a better boss, if you make a distinction between leadership and management, leadership is going to be about your own behavior. Management is about how you actually control and implement systems in your office. So today, in talking about being a better boss, we're really talking about your own behavior. And I just want to give you a quick phrase that you always want to be the role model for the behavior you want others to emulate. As I'm coaching with clients and working with them over the years, I've always expressed to them, look, you never want to be the reason why your team doesn't do the things that you want them to do. Meaning you don't allow yourself or allow your team to use you as the excuse. Leadership has everything to do with your own behavior. And I think that if you're going to be satisfied in your practice, if you're going to have any success in your practice, the leadership ability of the doctor is going to be a big factor in whether you're happy with your or not. And so it's really, really important. You know, Alex, you kind of alluded to the fact that, you know, most doctors are nice, most people are nice, and I would say as a boss, most of you are probably doing a pretty good job. And if I see anything, I see that most of them give in too soon to their team, and they're a little bit too self-sacrificing, meaning they do too much on their own instead of giving it to their team. It's kind of like dealing with patients and broken appointments. There's some tough love that goes there. And I find that when you draw boundaries with your staff and you hold them accountable for the things that you want them to be responsible for, they not only do more for you in the end, but they become more satisfied in their job as well. So you've got to teach your team how to share the load in the practice's success. So that means they have to all each be given responsibility, and they have to be given or held accountable for what they get done. So what I'm saying here is that dentists should manage their practice by spending more time with their team and empowering them to take responsibility for their own actions. You know, it's funny because there's a lot of successful leaders are supportive, but they don't become too overbearing. So it's a delicate balance there. You want them to know you're on their side, but you're not necessarily looking over their shoulder. So the dentist's job is to create the environment for success, and the team members should put forth the effort. So that's where the leadership is. The doctor has the ideas and the energy and provides the support, but really it's the team who has to carry through. I tell staff all the time, look, and I always include myself in it, we've been hired for exactly one reason. We've been hired to make the job, we've been hired to make the job of the doctor more productive. And so if we can't help the doctor be more productive, we're not needed. But I'll look at dentists and say, your job is to inspire the team to want to create that extra productivity for you. So you've got to start out by looking for team members who are, I'll say, respectful, responsible, and resourceful. So you have to hire well. And these are not things that people can be trained. We can train them in skills, how to pour models, how to take pictures. We can train them how to answer the phone and do the scheduling. But it's very, very difficult to train them to be respectful. So when you're hiring somebody, make sure that you learn a little bit about how they create balance for their life outside the office. And the reason why I like to ask that question is, you know, if they're involved in sports or if they're involved in other activities, you know, with another group of people, then it tells you that, you know, they must be able to get along with other people. And depending on the kind of sport it is, it tells you how resourceful they are. So it's good to look for team members who sort of have that background, because you're not going to be able to teach them good manners if they haven't had it before they come into the office. And so what I'm saying is that you don't want to hire the first that's available because it's going to be hard to work toward instilling these qualities in them. I want you to hear, individuals who respect authority they pay attention. You know, those individuals will listen to you. Team members who are given responsibility, they give to practice. So there's a difference here. People who respect authority pay attention. Team members who are given responsibility, they give to the practice because they're expected to be accountable for the things that they're responsible for.